we'll start off with my topic, which is movie theaters. And I was wondering, and I mean, there's a lot that we could talk about with movie theaters. Feel free to take it any direction you want. I'm going to go just with the basic, like, bad experiences, just stories. Maybe you have good experiences. I don't know. Maybe everyone has a story about the last time they went or the time that made them hate movies. I don't know. Whatever you want to take it in, you can do. But before I tell my story, I wanted to go quickly around the circle here and ask, do you guys, like Roderick, do you go to movies in theaters anymore or regularly?
I haven't been for a while, but that's because I'm poor as fuck. Oh wait, can we swear or
No, yeah, you can say whatever. Yeah.
yeah, I'm poor as fuck. So for that reason, no. But I love going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like
Okay.
going to theaters too. They did a
Okay. And
they did a re-screening of Lord of the Rings a few months ago, and I went to see all that in a
oh,
row
nice.
on the same day. So that was one of
Oh,
the last
sweet.
times I went. That was good.
Liam, I think you're still you're going to the cinema, as you say.
Not as much as back in the days, when shifts aligned with checking out like a daytime movie kind of thing. So
Yeah.
not as much. I mean, I go with Kasumi's brother like every so often, just because he's kind of close to like Canby Broadway, and we usually hit up the VIP at Marine Gateway. Last one I saw was 2 Fridays ago. Bring Her Back, the Aussie brothers. That was awesome. That was really good. I mean, part of me sometimes thinks, oh, it would be cool to see more, but it's just time as well, right?
Yeah.
I feel bad if I ditch Kasumi and leave her with the two kids, and then I'm off watching a movie. So yeah, I mean, we all should definitely all go see a movie sometime, but yeah, not as much as I used to, and that's okay. Like I mean, maybe back in the day I would have already seen the new Mission Impossible and Ballerina by now, but times change, more responsibilities. So yeah, I still enjoy it though. Like the VIP at Marine Gateway is awesome. Like you can just go up there, have a beer before the movie, order another one, sit down and eat, whatever. Yeah.
Cool. And then, have you seen a movie this year in theaters, Clayton?
I have. I mean, I used to go religiously. I'd probably see a movie like 2 or 3 a month.
Wow.
Back in my heyday, like to me, I kind of feel like I've been an absentee from church. Like theater's my church. There's something romantic and magical about it. So I actually have a lot to say about this topic. But much in the way of what Liam said, it's just time. When you have kids, it's really hard, especially young kids that are under 5. It's really hard to get out of the house. And then by the time they go to sleep, you're so gassed from the day, to be quite honest with you, that you kind of want to spend time with your wife because you realize, wait a second, I'm raising this kid. And if I don't spend time with my wife, she's going to become a stranger soon, right? So you end up reconciling, what's important for your relationships. But that's okay because they'll get older, and then you could start bringing your kids to movies.
Yeah,
so it'll happen.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've only seen one movie this year in theaters. It was Black Bag, and it was.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, it was I got it for. Was it from you, Liam, or did I get that on my own? I forget. I got a free ticket preview screening from someone.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's a tight little smart, I don't know, thriller kind of thing. It's very efficient. It's not big. It's got a very few casts, very few locations. That they make a lot of use out of what they're doing. Nothing, I don't know if I'll remember it a couple of years from now, but I didn't not enjoy it. It was a great time. But I find myself wanting a movie. Like, I do like going to the movie theater, but I feel like whenever I think about going to the movies, it's me thinking of a time that no longer exists anymore, which is, before smartphones, and before people kind of lost their manners, which I think maybe is in due part to like Netflix, with people just openly talking all the time at home, and they just forget that they're not at home anymore and they're just in theaters chatting or whatever. And so over time, I've just found the theater experience has become like almost more torture than enjoyment. I don't even know why I'm there. I'm like, why did I spend $20 to be like infuriated more than I've been in months? Like, it's just so brutal. But I want to share the last kind of like straw story that kind of made me go like, I don't know if I can even go in public anymore to see movies like this. Just it's just too crazy. But it was when I went and saw Nope, and the experience was so bad that when people ask me if I've seen that movie, I tell them no, because I'm just like, I refuse to even let that experience exist because I was so distracted by this guy. So there was a seat next to me empty, and then the guy who was distracting me was one seat over. I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes into the movie, he gets a phone call, and he answers the phone, but it's not just a phone call, it's a FaceTime call. And it's with his mom. And okay, maybe if it's an emergency, you do a quick like, "Hey, I'm in a movie, can't," like, maybe, but I would assume you would not answer. But it wasn't even that. It was just a casual, "How you doing? I'm making dinner right now." FaceTime call, and he didn't even. It wasn't even a conversation. Like they were just hanging out. There were times where like 5 minutes would go by, and she would just be making dinner with the FaceTime thing on, and just sitting there in silence. And he just held the phone up with his mom in the movie theater, and it went on for about 20, I don't know, 20 minutes straight. And usually I will say something. I don't mind like telling people to put their phone away, but at a certain point I kind of looked at the guy a couple times, giving him the classic, like, you give the look first and hopefully they get the hint. But I started thinking that the guy was maybe like on the spectrum, or like had some kind of disability. And so I was like, I can't yell at this guy now. He's like invincible. I can't yell at this guy because I'll look like the bad guy. So I just had to like put up with this nonsense. So he hangs up eventually, but then 10 minutes later the mom calls back. He's on the phone again. Another, like, I would say overall it was probably close to 45 to 50 minutes of the entire experience. This guy was on his phone just hanging out on FaceTime with his mom. And I was so like furious after that. I was like, I don't know, I can't do movies anymore, because I would say more often than not I have experiences like that where I'm just like, you just ruined the whole thing for me. I can't I can't go back. Like, what a waste of $20 that was. And yeah, I don't know. So movie experiences have been gotten more and more sour for me. I do like the big screen. I think I like being with an audience if they're polite and normal. But yeah, I don't know. Those good experiences are becoming more and more rare. I'm wondering if anyone else here has any horror stories, or maybe the opposite. Maybe they always have good experiences and they love the movies. So feel free, anyone, to take it away. I'll let Clayton jump in.
Yeah, sure. I'll jump in. I mean, I've actually never had an experience quite like that. I mean, I think it's not uncommon that there's going to be people who are talking in a little rude for moments. But for all of these years, I've never had that happen. It's been mostly positive experiences. There's two experience, like really positive experience that I can remember is I remember I was living in New York when Superman Returns came out. And so I saw Superman Returns in Times Square. There used to be a theater there. I don't know if there's a theater there anymore. And the reason why it was so amazing is because audience participation. And growing up in Canada, you don't really get a lot of audience participation vocally,
Hmm.
right? So at first, it kind of took me like I was a little kind of like startled. I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" But the entire movie, people were like, "Don't do that, Superman! No, don't, no, no!" And they were like actually invested. And at first, I was like, "Oh, is this going to be annoying?" And then after a while, I was like, "No." It felt like I was at a football game and people were cheering on. It actually made you invest more in the stakes of what was happening. So what a lot of people trash Superman Returns, but I remember it being a thrill ride, but it might have been because everyone was just rooting. Rooting the team, man. Like it was awesome. And then the other like really amazing experience I'd say is when I saw Capote with Philip Seymour Hoffman. I saw that in Vancouver at the International Village. It was called Tinseltown at the time. And I can't remember what theater it is, but they've got the balcony section. I was on the top balcony section, but it's pretty contained. And it wasn't really a vocal experience. It was just the way it was the respect for what was occurring. The movie theater was packed. Philip Seymour Hoffman obviously won an Oscar for that role. It was the scene where he was crying at the end and saying goodbye to the guy who, the murderer in Cold Blood, who was being put to death. And it was so real. It was so authentic. And you could feel a pin drop in that movie theater. And I remember going, oh my God, this is probably one of the greatest performance moments I've ever seen. I looked around and the entire audience, every single person in that theater was like, they stopped breathing. The whole theater stopped breathing. And so I guess that circles back to my romanticism with theater and, that church aspect to it. I think it's wonderful when people are there to experience something together. So it sounds like the guy that you were with, something was going on.
Yeah, I do like audience, because like to your point about your Superman experience, when I went and saw Episode 1 Star Wars, like that was, people were clapping when Yoda pulled out his lightsaber. That was cool. I like moments like that.
That's two. Attack of the
oh yeah, it was
Attack of the Clones had more cheers than Episode 1,
yeah,
which is interesting because I actually like Episode 1 better than Episode 2.
Oh, 2 is unwatchable, I would say. If you watch it in modern times, it is like not even a movie. It's like a cartoon. Yeah, it's terrible. But I don't know. How about you guys, Roderick? Are you when you do go to the movies, are you easily distracted, or do you care about that kind of stuff?
No, I like it. The last few movies I watched was more like there was a few like independent movie theaters around here, and I went with a mate who's into those kind of movies. I guess there's a few film festivals actually I went to. There's like an Italian film festival, and so like I actually like that kind of stuff. I've been on more of this kind of thing. I guess in France is more this style as well, like European movies as well. And I saw some big ones like that when Napoleon came out, or there's another one as well. That was fucking sick. I love going and seeing that on the big screen. Like I still do.
Yeah.
But I actually got a projector now, so I kind of got a midway now where I do screening in my place with mates. So we kind of hang out here and do sort of an intermediate between the two, I guess.
Cool.
Which is nice because there's no autistic people sitting next to me.
Yeah, I would assume when you're going to more of the like the film festivals and the more artsy films, there's not a bunch of idiots going to those.
Yeah, well,
talking
a
to their
different
mom
style
on
of idiots. Yeah, it's like a different vibe.
Like, I say,
Yeah, exactly.
Got a monocle up.
Different spectrums.
And what about you, Liam?
Yeah, I don't really have any crazy stories. I mean, I know back in the day, Scotiabank and Tinseltown, there'd be always a couple of people, depending on the movie and depending on like what time, a couple of might just be a bit rowdy, but nothing super serious. I know the phone thing bugs the crap out of me, so I have told a couple of people off in the past, just more like really that kind of thing. Like, can you turn it off? Not like shouting or anything. Because I know people in the States have been killed over old occasions like that in the past. I mean, Owen, who Clayton Cooper you've met before, when he was living in Vancouver, we went to go see the Tomb Raider remake with Alicia Vikander. And I think it was just like a summer day or whatever, daytime show, pretty empty. There was like 3 people sitting behind us who were just chatting constantly. And they were like, obviously, I think they were tourists. We're assuming they were tourists, just having like a summer movie day or whatever. And they just kept on talking, and then Owen could tell that I was really getting really, really frustrated. And I was just like, God damn, why wouldn't they shut up? And he finally turned around and told them off. But in it kind of, I think he swore at them, but he didn't realize the person talking was this like 10-year-old girl. And then like, oh dude, like what do you make me do? Like just because he got so frustrated. So we thought it was like really funny because he always jokes to me that I make it a thing that he's a bit of a mouth breather. So, like, whenever we used to see movies when we first became friends, I'd be like, can you, like, close your mouth? And he'd just joke, like, okay, I'll stop breathing. But just, like, little things like that. But that was a funny one. I think Clayton was saying, like, rowdy people, it just reminded me of the two films that I remember it having like such a great, like loud, like response from an audience was probably Fifth Avenue Cinemas when Slumdog Millionaire finished, and everyone stood up and clapped. Like no one was rowdy or anything. Everyone was just like blown away by that. And I think the only other movie where I've seen such a huge audience response, not I think like with yelling, but positive yelling, like Helen was saying about Superman, was Titan AE in the year,
Oh,
year
yeah.
2000
Great
with
movie.
Matt Damon, Drew Barrymore, complete bomb. I love that movie, and everyone I watched that in Indonesia when I was going to high school, and everyone in the cinema stood up at the end and like just huge round of applause. I think majority of people in it were probably stoned, but yeah, it's just like that was a great movie. But negative thing I probably did, like me being the bad person, was in Indonesia, like during high school, like making out in a cinema. I forgot what movie, but making out with my ex-girlfriend, like high school sweetheart. And because Indonesia is like it's the most populated Muslim country in the world, that's not a thing you do. In a cinema that's empty, like sure you can get away with it, but we didn't know there were like Muslim women with the veils and everything on, but right behind us, and they'll kick in our chair. But we didn't really like connect it. We were just like, oh, whatever. But as an adult now, I realized that was obviously like offensive. So I feel a bit bad about that. But we were like,
You got to sit in the very back, you know. You can't have people.
oh
There's a
no,
whole strategy to this.
yeah, that's all I have.
My dad actually, I sent you this. I sent Liam a text from my dad because my dad went and saw what was that? What was that called?
Sinners?
The new Thunderbolts. Is that what it is?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
the new Avengers now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he I'll just read his text. So he's like,